Welcome to the Teacher Parent Collaborative episodes. Today we share with you Digital Technology Nights, Back to Basics. This is episode 1 of a multi-episode series that we're going to be providing. My name is Tanya Ordinola, 2021-2022 school year. I work with the Nevada Digital Learning Collaborative. I have been recently selected to be a digital ambassador, and I've been a teacher for Clark County School District for 14 years. I also want to share my email with you if you have any questions or I can help you with anything. It's tordinola.nvdlc@gmail.com. The series, the Teacher Parent Collaborative series, is inspired by its own motto. The goal is to inspire and support digital learning students. We will offer resources like videos, expert panels, and helpful digital learning tips. In addition, we will work together to support each other through a new digital way of learning. Through teamwork and collaboration, we will join forces to ensure our students' success. I want to pose a question. What would you do? What would you do if you knew that a big bear called online learning, blended learning, was coming to take your student out of the path that you had envisioned for them, out of the path of educational success? Take a minute to think about that. Because what I would do is I would say, not today, not on my watch. And I'm hoping that this multi-episode series can help prepare you for a successful school year. What can we do if we know something is coming? All we can do is prepare. And I'm hoping that together we can prepare for a successful school year. A colleague, Jeff Mulligan, shares there's incredible potential for digital technology in and beyond the classroom, but it's vital to rethink how learning is organized if we are to reap the rewards. So it's just preparing good building blocks, going back to basics, rethinking the way we do things, and that will lead to success. Today, what you will need is a notebook. You will need an open mind, and also an open mind to set some goals to help your student be successful. Today, you're going to have 3 takeaways. You'll know what digital learning technology nights are, and you will know more about digital learning as well. You will know the digital tools that as teachers here in the state of Nevada we're using, and also the terminology that we use. And also I will give you some tips for a successful school year, but also we will hear from other teachers wanting to give their input and help to our students. This is a episode for back to basics. So if you know the basics of digital nights and you know the basics of digital learning, maybe you'd want to look at the demo video or hear what the other teachers in Nevada have to share. But this is for parents who want a good foundation, a good building block to help their students be successful. And to have a good foundation, we have to go back to basics. Parents, as teachers here in the state of Nevada, we want you to know that we hear you loud and clear. We also read the headlines and we know what is talked about in terms of digital, online, blended learning. Some headlines state that parents want more one-on-one support from their teachers. Other headlines state virtual schools resulted in significant learning loss. So we want you to know that we hear you and we're trying to do things to support you. And hopefully this video helps support you in a one-on-one manner. Here's some studies from CNBC did a poll of teachers, 941 US educators from grades kindergarten to 12th grade. They say that the 941 US educators share that they see a 53% significant learning loss. 44% of those teachers say that they see some learning loss, and 3% say no impact. But this pandemic has had an impact on our students. It has had an impact on educators. It has had impact on parents as well. Significant learning loss, that the students themselves were socially hurt, right? Socially, emotionally hurt by not interacting with their peers. So there's so much. More than 12 months, that was 5% of the educators. 6 to 12 months was 23% of the educators. They were behind 3 to 6 months, 27%. Behind 1 to 3 months, 30% of the educators. And about the same was 15% of the educators. We hear you, Nevada parents. The Teacher Parent Collaborative Series, which this is episode 1, but there will be other episodes to look forward to. One is called Family Engagement, the trilogy, and I'll have administrators, teachers, and parents together so we can answer questions and we can build for a successful future for our students, talking, communicating, working together, laying the foundation for success. Another episode that will be coming is supporting our new teachers, parent teachers, because parents, you're there at home with our online students, with our blended students, helping us, and you're teachers too. So I will be giving a lot of tips in that episode as well. You can find out about these episodes and webinars and recorded webinars at www.nvdigitallearning.org. Before I start today's agenda, and I want to start it on a positive, um, happy note, I am a kindergarten teacher, and many times one of the things that I get asked the most is to tell or share anecdotes about the classroom. And I will share one to start us off with a smile. Like I said, I teach kindergarten. I enjoy it. I love it. My students are so sweet. They want to learn. They're so innocent. So one day we're in the hallway, we're walking, crossing our hands, holding a bubble, and we see Mr. Jesus. So a couple of students wave and say, "Hi, Mr. Jesus." And as we're walking quietly to the classroom, one of my students whispers, "I've read his books." And I whisper back, "What are his books?" And he says, "Cat in a Hat and Green Eggs and Ham." And I have many more of those. I'll share another one in the next episode. But for today's agenda, we have digital nights. We're going to be talking the different terminology we're going to be deciphering is learning platforms, online curriculums, one-step login services, student databases, and their importance. I'm going to give you a digital night demo for one of my classes, my math class. And also, I will share some tips on digital learning success. And I also will share from you tips from some teachers across Nevada. Digital Technology Nights. In our new digital learning world, conferences are important for so many reasons, not only to get to know your students better, but also to provide important basic information to you as families. This is a great opportunity to lay the groundwork for positive parent-teacher relationships. Due to the pandemic, we no longer have back to school nights, or we may slowly be having those. But now we can have digital technology nights, or as some call it, digital nights, where we can talk to you parents about the technology that we use in class, the learning platforms that we use, and so much more. What is a digital technology night? A digital technology night is a conference where teachers share assistive strategies for technology within their individual schools. Technology requirements like iPads or Chromebooks, online curriculums, and commonly used learning platforms. Parents, if you want to take note on these terminologies that are used, that would be good. So when you get a note or an email, you'll be more geared to understand what it is that is required or being asked. The learning platforms that we use here in Nevada are Canvas and Google Classroom. Some online curriculums, and when we get there, I will discuss many, are, for example, Reading Wonders, My Math, those are all McGraw-Hill. For student database, we use Infinite Campus for students and for parents. Learning platforms. Learning platforms are online portals that provide students and teachers tools to improve delivery of digital lessons and learning resources. Like I stated, in Nevada, we use Canvas. Some schools, though very few, use Google Classroom. And even if you're watching this video from another state, your state will also have learning platforms that are going to be helping the online and digital, the online learning students and blended learning students. Canvas is a course management platform that supports online learning and teaching. It allows teachers to post grades, information, lessons, assignments for students, and more, learning resources, videos, and much more. Google Classroom is a learning platform that helps teachers create and distribute assignments, grades, and learning resources. So the platforms, learning platforms, are the basis of our lessons. Our lessons are there, our units, our modules, our learning resources, our videos, everything that we will be using daily with your student is found in Canvas, if that's what your school uses, or Google Classroom. So those are very vital to your students' learning. Online curriculums. Online curriculums are online portals that provide students and teachers tools to improve the delivery of digital lessons and learning resources. Like I mentioned to you before, we have Reading Wonders, My Math, Inspire Science, Impact Social Studies. Depending on your school decides what online curriculums they will be using, because some are paid for by the school and some are free. Here's some others that you may be familiar with that are used at your school. Other online curriculums are Discovery Education, Khan Academy, Rosetta Stone, Flipgrid, Envisions, Pearson's, Mayan, Apex. And just remember, as things continue to change, these things, all these online curriculums will be continually updated as well. Single sign-on application. The single sign-on application that we use here in Nevada, and other schools in other states may use this as well, or something similar, is Clever. Clever allows students to use safe passwords in a single-use application. The best way to describe Clever is as a placeholder with saved passwords for classroom learning platforms and online curriculums and more. So the great thing about a single sign-on application is Clever is if your students say, oh, I can't do this certain science assignment because I need to read something and I've forgotten my password, so I can't get it done. You can remind your student that they can go to Clever, and in Clever, all their passwords are saved. So their passwords to their science curriculum is saved, their password to their reading materials, everything that they need is there. And so they no longer have to worry about forgetting a password because everything is set there in Clever to help students have ease of navigation through all their online curriculums and learning platforms and more. Student database system. Here in Nevada, we use Infinite Campus. Infinite Campus is a portal that is secure and easy to use to get access to class schedules, attendance, missing assignments, and grades. This student database system, Infinite Campus, is vital. It's vital for parents. Parents can use Infinite Campus portal. It helps them track grades, assignments, and helps parents find out how their students are doing in real time. As we update our grades, we try to update them every other day consistently so the parents can see where the students are in turning their assignments and where they are in learning the material. If you, as a parent, happen to see some lower grades, this opens a line of communication with your student, asking them, do they need more help? Do they need to talk? Do you need to reach out to the teacher for help or enrichment tools? It's a very good tool. Also, the good thing about the student database system is that the students also can use Infinite Campus Student Portal. The student portal allows students to look for assignment information, grades. It helps students check their progress in school. What I like is that it puts ownership on the student so they can see what they're missing, what they need help on. Can they talk to their teacher about possibly making up work or extra credit? It's very important, a very important tool. So if you have not signed up for Infinite Campus or have not known what it can do or what it can help, please reach out to your teachers. Please reach out to your main offices, school main offices, because they can help you sign up. They have flyers, they have tips. The main thing that you will need to sign up for Infinite Campus would be your student's student ID number. Now I'm going to go to our digital technology night demo. In our new digital learning world, technology conferences will be vital. Here is a digital technology night demo for your viewing pleasure. Learning about all the aspects of digital learning may be daunting, but with exposure and practice, parents will feel better prepared to help students be successful. And that's what our goal is. And without further ado, Digital Nights. Welcome, parents, to Digital Nights. It is our first digital night, but we will continue throughout the year to have digital nights. Be sure that you have your favorite soft drink, your favorite snack, some water, and join me while I tell you about everything we're going to be doing in math. First, I want to share my contact information. I'm available between the hours of 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Those are my office hours. Feel free to email me. You can request a call as well under the tab phone. You can email me with times for a phone conference. If you can give me like 2 or 3 times, that way I can try to adjust the school schedule with a phone call to you. My email is tordinola.nvdlc@gmail.com. Other ways to contact me, Google Classroom. If you go through Google Classroom, that's an instantaneous private message that is sent to me. And as I'm many times there looking at my lessons and learning resources, it will come to me and I can give you a quick answer right back if it's something that I can explain through a message. The My Math Curriculum by McGraw-Hill. And I'll be showing you that as we move forward. Here's some questions. How can parents help with math homework? Hi. So parents can help with math homework. To me, the best thing would be to review your students' work in their folder, what we've done for the day, and then ask them questions. And they should be able to respond why they have certain answers or did certain things. Also, if their work has a star, that means I reviewed it with them. I asked them a few questions and I feel that they know the material. But like any of us, we can forget. So review is always good. What topics will be taught this year in math? I'd like to challenge the students and have them learn 1 to 150, if at all possible. I want them to be well prepared for their next grade. We will also talk about 10 frames, their value, for students to know that if they see one tens frame and it's full, they can automatically know that there's 10 items in that tens frame. If there's a double tens frame and it's full as well, that they can know that there's 20 items in a tens frame. Another thing that we'll go over is composing and decomposing numbers. We will also go over beginning addition, beginning subtraction, measurement, time, and money. Students can study at home for assessments just as we discussed previously. They can go through the work that you've collected for them, that they've done during the unit, and they can review it with you. And just a good review and touch on some things that they might have forgotten will have them ready for their assessment. Here is our My Math online curriculum. I want to share it with you so you get a chance to see what we do online with the curriculum. So here is our online curriculum, My Math by McGraw-Hill. In this tab where it says chapters, you can click and you can see chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, everything we will be learning, 0 to 5, learning numbers to 10, learning to compose and decompose numbers, addition, subtraction, measurement, classifying objects, and more. So in this tab, you can click on, let's say you're on chapter 4, lesson 4. You can click here and you will see a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation for your student. You can also click here and see an anchor video for the chapter that you're working on. This is very vital, the ebook, because if you're not in class or you're an online learner, you can print pages to work on at home or if you're absent. I'm going to go ahead and play this video so you guys can see what your kids do.
Let's go to the city. Math can help you in your adventure in the city. You can make sense of the world around you by using math. Let's practice. Let's say you and your classmates visit the public library down.
So that gives you an idea. There's videos, there's presentations, there's resources, extra worksheets, things you can do at home. But I guess the main takeaway is that you can see what chapter your student's in and review. Or if you missed it, go over the material. And then the second big takeaway is your ebook, because your ebook lets you go to the workbook pages that we're working on, and it allows you to print. All right, parents, moving forward, we have grading. So here I have a grading scale. And also, I want to answer some questions you may have. What are things you look for? When grading, I look for 100% completion, understanding of the material, and also see the students' work, math work, and see if they are trying to understand what they're doing. Sometimes when I see their work, I can see that it was just a quick mix up, and then I can just explain it to them and feel comfortable giving them the full points. What are ways that students can raise their grade? Again, I'm just going to go back to review. Review is so essential, so vital. The students can see what you collect, what the students have brought for that particular unit, and the student can just go over things, review, feel confident because they do know everything that they've already gotten a star on. So it's just a quick review and they'll be ready for their assessments and raising their grades. Is there any extra credit opportunities? Well, guess what? I always try to put some extra credit opportunity at the end of the unit. If I don't, feel free to email me and request it. And it's generally, it'll be just a little overview on the things that we went over. And then I'll be able to give a couple of extra credit points. Next, I want to discuss with you absences. It would be in an ideal learning world, it would be ideal if students did not have any absences so they can learn all the material, process it, and be there during our group active learning activities. But if you are absent, here's some questions that you may have that I want to answer. What should families do when their child is absent? Now, this is very important. For our math class, they should go to Google Classroom. They should go and click under the day that they miss, and they'll be able to see the assignment. Was there any learning resources or enrichment assignments, and complete those through Google Classroom. Number one, for their students to stay in the know and ahead with us of what they're learning. And secondly, because this will make sure that your student receives all their points. Can students make up work? Yes, students can make up work, like I said, through Google Classroom, clicking on the day that they have missed, and that will give them the assignment for that particular day. And then they're able to do it at home, take a picture or scan it and upload it to Google Classroom for points. What are students expected to do at home when they're absent? Again, it's all Google Classroom. I really would expect them and hope that they on their own would go there so they're able to do the work that was missed and catch any great resources that we did that day. I'm going to take you into my Google Classroom for math to help you understand it more in depth. So I wanted to share a little bit about Google Classroom. I want to give you a snapshot of how Google Classroom shows all your classes. You can move these classes around to make sure that you have them in order of time. So it's easy for your online student just to click. Today we're focusing on math. So let's go ahead and click on math. Then we go to classwork. On the top is your daily Zoom link, which takes you to our online math class. As you go down, you see all our lessons. You can click on any day that your student misses, and it will give you information to guide you. Today, we're completing chapter 4, lesson 4. Here it lets you know today we are completing chapter 4, lesson 3. Then for this day, it's a review. So we have enrichment work that you can do. You can click on it and you can print it out. The main thing for our enrichment work was to write our numbers 1 to 100 and figure out a mystery code. So that is what we worked on that day. So this is Google Classroom in a nutshell. You go to the specific class that you are needing to work on. If you missed a certain day, you go to that specific day. You can click on it and it will give you your assignments. It will give you great videos if we watched any great videos in class or we did any enrichment worksheets. Everything's there to guide you, and it's under the header of the week that you're working on. Day 1 would be the 19th to the 20th, 3/20 first, and then day 4 would be the 22nd. Thank you. What are the students expected to do each night at home? We do not assign homework per se. We try to do it during class. We try to do it together. If there's any problems that we weren't able to do during class, then they would be homework. But the main thing, as I've said before, my main takeaway tip is to review. Just review, even if they know it, then that helps build their confidence. And when we do have an assessment, they will feel like they can, accomplish the work and get a good grade on their assessment. Is homework graded? Yes, homework is graded. Once I look over the work during class that we were able to do, we do the class work portion of the book and the homework. Once I give it a star, I log it into my grade book and they do receive a grade. Are parents supposed to help students with homework? If there's some problems that we didn't get to and you can help the student review them, please do. Also, my only help or homework suggestion that I would give is just to review the work that was done for the day in math so they're ready to build on the concept the next day. Safety. What are your school's COVID safety expectations as far as COVID? As far as COVID in the classroom, we stay 3 feet apart. We wear masks 100% of the time. And then we use hand sanitizer before going to lunch, when coming back from lunch, or anything that we leave the classroom for, we come back and just do that procedure. And students are required to wear masks, and that is non-negotiable. Every student needs to have their masks on. Technology. What are your expectations for technology? In our classroom, we use iPads. So make sure that the iPads are charged, that you can connect through the iPad. And if there's any technical issue, if you can please reach out to me. With online learning and doing so much work online, it is a concern for teachers and it is a big concern for parents as well. I want to let you know that at the beginning of the year and through the year, we do SEPA student training, and it's a training that helps students stay safe while they're using the computer for learning. We let them know that their codes, any passcodes, should not be shared. We let them know that any personal information, name, address, should not be shared through the internet. No one's going to ask them that when they're doing their work or when they're accessing their online curriculum. And I just leave it to any questions. Having this first digital night with you, and there's many more to come. So feel free to email me with any questions, with any concerns. If your student's having any difficulty in math, I'm here to help you. I have learning resources. I have extra worksheets I can share with you, techniques. So please always reach out to me. And thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be having other digital nights, but thank you for joining me for this one. All right. So, of the webinar where I want to share some parent support and to help you through your new school year and to be successful. And they're very basic, simple tips, but I'm hoping that they can help you and they could be the basis, they could be the foundation for a terrific digital learning school year. So, number one, things that you can do before class. What can you and your student do before class to ensure success? Well, one of the things is to have an alarm clock or teach your student to look at the analog clock or your digital clock and make sure they know what time class is starting. It's good for you to set up, I would say 5 minutes before, because sometimes there's technical difficulties everywhere, right? Some technology piece might not be charged. It might your Chromebook or iPad may not want to turn on. So it gives you time to prepare for that. Another thing is to have your your items ready that you're going to need for school. It could be as simple as having your pencils, your crayons, but also any books your teacher has requested of you, any worksheets your teacher has said that they need for that day. Have those out and ready before class. Check and see if you have everything that the students is going to need. And another big tip is make sure that your student knows how to log in and get to the online class that they are taking. For example, if it's math, do they have the link that they can press so they can get there and to their classroom successfully? So those would be the three before class. During class. Now, during class, as parents, I'm a parent too. We would like to be right near our student and see if they need anything. Did we all forget something? But it's really good to build the students' independence. They need to try to be independent. So, standing by them or near them, unless they're a very young student, and I teach kindergarten, and that should only happen for the first week or two. It's good to let them know that you believe that they can be independent and that they can get what they need to do during their school day or even class done. Another thing that would be very helpful is for the student to be focused. Make sure your student is focused. If I had a choice between standing near a student or checking on them every so often to make sure they were focused, that would be the one that I would pick. Make sure your student is connected to the class, that they're following along in the class. If the class is all doing something like reading or answering some questions, that your student's doing that. So that would be number two. First, teach them to be independent. Second, make sure that they're focused. And third, also remember that the camera is on and whatever you see the teacher do there in the classroom, the teacher can see into your home too. And there's other online students. So sometimes heavy noises or even toys when they're younger becomes a distraction. So I would just keep that in mind, that we want to mimic a learning environment, that's free of distractions. After class, what can you do after class? Well, if they're in between classes, make sure that they have a healthy snack. If it's lunchtime, make sure that they can eat, a lunch that can satisfy them and get them through the end of the school day. Also, to have a little area where they can do their schoolwork. There may be homework to do or an assignment that wasn't finished or an art project that wasn't finished in the allotted amount of time. So now the students have time to finish that, but just give them a space, a learning space where they can do that. Also, as they're completing their work or their homework, see if they need help with anything. Do you feel that they didn't understand that concept that the teacher was teaching that day? Or maybe they shared with you that they didn't understand. And this is a good time to, after they do their work, reach out to your teacher and let them know, this concept was a little hard. It helps us when we hear feedback, we know to adjust our lessons, to add reviews, or we can send you tips on helping your specific student. And now we are going to hear from other teachers other than myself. And we're going to pose two questions that some great teachers here from Nevada have answered. How can parents help their students prepare for a successful digital school year? And what advice would you give parents to improve their students' digital engagement? So, if they're learning digitally, how can we keep those students successful and engaged? And here we go. Now we're at the last portion of our webinar. This is the response to the questions that we posed at the beginning. This is advice from teachers who have been in the district for many years and they're masters in their craft of teaching. They share advice kindly with us on how students can have a successful school year. First is Miss Mills. She holds a master's degree in special education. She shares, parents of younger students can work with them at home to help them learn how to log into Google Classroom and other online platforms the school uses so that they are prepared to do so independently in class. She also shares, parents can make sure students are checking their emails, to-do lists, and missing assignments daily. Parents can sign up for Google Classroom to receive emails regarding the student's work. Ms. Stella O shares 3 important tips. A, establish routines. Students should know the time to log in and when assignments are due. Routines are also helpful to avoid burnout. Using a timer to ensure that the student has time outdoors or away from technology is helpful as well. B, establish guidelines. Make sure your students know that they should be engaged during class and not surf websites while in class. Parents should check in regularly while students are online and communicate with the teacher to ensure students are engaged in class. C, establish expectations. Communicate with students what they are expected to complete based on assignments and teacher syllabus. Provide a reward system for students so they can work for something that they like or want. And lastly, we have Ms. McNulty and Ms. Harper. Ms. McNulty shares, parents can help their students prepare for a successful digital school year by having step-by-step instruction with pictures on how to navigate all the programs we use in class. Creating a learning environment similar to school is ideal. Daily structured activities like bedtime, wake up time, getting dressed, lunch, recess, homework, and free time would all be examples of school-like environments. Next, we have Ms. Harper. Establish a routine in order to help the students stay on track. I would also suggest setting up a learning corner that is free of any distractions, which I believe would help them feel like they have a classroom type environment. Also, I believe that parents should encourage the students to participate in class discussions and activities. This will help them pay attention and stay engaged. Ms. Harper. Now we're at the last portion of So thank you so much for listening to this webinar, seeing the things that I had to share. Remember that in November, the Teacher Parent Collaborative Series is going to be coming up with other webinars, which is Family Engagement, the trilogy, where we will hear from administrators, teachers, and parents so we can work together. And then also supporting our new teachers, parent teachers, because you're teachers as well. You're there at home and you're trying to help your student be successful along with us. So I want to tell you, parents, that we hear you, we're activated, we want to support you in any way that we can. So consider us activated. Thank you again. Goodbye. Please reach out with any questions or if you need help with anything related to digital learning. T or Denola at mvdlc@gmail.com.